Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's set of reads. These readings are always valid for whenever you tune into them, of course. But that being said, for this installment, for the tarot cards, I'm using the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. And to where you can find it, it's by Tilly Walden. I knew there was something else I wanted to say there, Tilly Walden. And you can find it at Liminal 11. The website is liminal11.com, liminal 11, you know, there it is if you want to see it. The oracle cards I've chosen are Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. And the website for this one, rockpoolpublishing.com.au, A as in apple, U as an umbrella. And of course, I use dice, 22-sided dice for the major arcana, substituting 22 for 0. And 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and a 4-sided dice to choose the element that matches up with the minor arcana. You can find those at mathartfun.com, and it's the dice shop. Okay, that being said, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. This is James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. And let's go on and watch your read. Hello, Scorpio. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Scorpio? Emperor was the first card out. Empress was the second. So this could be very good. A lot of brutal truth could be coming forward that's being balanced out quite well. I got some healing coming in. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let me get the rest of this down. Wow. It's pushing forward. Like, it's kind of like we want to get this done. We want to move forward. We want to fix whatever's going on. Seeing something for what it really is something I keep getting to. Scorpio's very dynamic, and they don't really, I don't think of Scorpio as a give-up energy. I think sometimes Scorpio accepts, like, this is what it is, and accepts it for what it is. Because I've heard some different versions of this. I think Scorpio is kind of like, listen, what happened happened, feeling it through and accepting it. I might be wrong, let me know in the comments, but I feel like Scorpio is more of a kind of like, it's not about liking it, it's like it's addressing it for what it really is. And I feel like you're seeing something for what it really is. There's been a lot of work for whatever this is, a lot of work towards a goal. I mean, it's a general read. We can go down 1,000,001 possibilities, but there's been a lot of work. You put in a lot of effort into something, and it's given you a lot. It has given you a lot within respect to the situation. As you've been working at it, you've been getting things back from it. Did you get everything you wanted out of it? I don't know about that. But I feel like there's coming a point up here where the truth is coming forward in a very, very brutal but balanced way. The Emperor makes me feel like it's very brutal but honest. It's kind of like, listen, this is just what it is. Scorpio, again, I keep feeling like, I don't think they give up. I feel like they kind of accept the situation for what it is. And they're just like, listen, we got to accept that this is what it is. And putting more effort into this is just going to be wasted effort. We need to, like, clean it up, decide what we need to do with what's left, and step forward with what we have to do. I just think of Scorpio as just like addressing it for what it is. Like, this is what it is. This is, liking it is its own thing. Liking it or not liking it is its own thing. We need to address it for what it is. And I do get that you have a lot of, like, Scorpio is very strong. I probably say this a lot. Scorpio can have that stinger if you want it, but also Scorpio can be very warm if they decide it's necessary. So there might be a balance of kind of like brutality and caring that just kind of marries in just the right amount of both, to where, like, nobody feels beat up on, but people don't get to lollygag and pretend things are better than they actually are. This energy is creating a lot of healing in many different ways. A lot of healing coming through. This is kind of like the weather passing by. For right now, there's a lot of healing coming out of this. And you seem to be very much pushing it forward the way you need to push it forward. You see a lot of different angles that other people don't want to see. So it's almost like, how to explain this? It's kind of like, I know tomorrow they're not going to have access to a cafeteria or somewhere to buy food. So they need to have lunch, right? So it's kind of like, I'm not going to like get them in that mode because I'm just like, they got so much going on. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get some bread, I'm going to get some stuff that's not going to go bad, and I'm going to get like an ice pack to put it with, and I'm going to, have all the elements where they can create their own lunch. So tomorrow morning I can go, hey, you might want to create your own lunch. There's ice packs there, there's bread over there, there's, lunch meat, cheese, whatever. There's a thing here to put it in, some chips, some cookies, a drink if you want that. You can put that all together so that way you have it for lunch. So it's almost like you're preparing to make sure that things are there. If they decide to make something, you're like, all right, if you're not going to be able to do that, so here are the elements. If you want to put something together, I stocked all this up so you can put that together yourself. Does that make sense? Because I don't think you're holding anybody's hand, but I feel like you're setting things up to where if they want help or they want things to go better, you'll be like, hey, it's all here. I have it all set. You just got to put it together. It's all ready for you. Take that extra 10 minutes, put together your lunch, and make sure it works for you the way you want it. Not the way I put it together for you. I've just stocked everything. You decide what you want to do. And I feel like you're setting it up in that sense. Like you're not doing all the work. You're just making sure the elements are ready for them if they need them, if they decide to do that. It's not bad, but it does feel heavy. And this is Scorpio. But I'm thinking to myself, because I'm a Pisces, it is another water sign, so I'm wondering if I'm over-empathizing with this. It feels like, yeah, it's a lot, but I can do it. I keep getting that attitude. Like, yeah, it's a lot, but I can do it. Yeah, it's a lot, but I can do it. The energy around you might be struggling, but it does seem to be compatible, and I'm getting that with this, the Prince of Cups. This energy seems to be following your lead, and they seem to be doing it, but they also seem to be having some issues, like really putting it in line. It's very haphazard, and so these two cards coming in, they seem like whatever you're trying to set up for them, you got all the elements ready. There's the lack of focus. Lack of focus, the lack of direction, that seems to be an issue. And I almost feel like this is when sometimes people just get stuck. They get overwhelmed and they just get stuck. Okay, so that's okay. Because I keep seeing resistance, but I keep feeling like something is stuck. Resistance, resistance is when somebody's unwilling to. It's how I take resistance. But it might be an emotional resistance where they're just stuck. So they are trying to move forward, but it's not adding up correctly. Even though you have all the correct elements and you're trying to give them hints about what they should do, it's not adding up correctly. Okay, so I'm just going to take this with a grain of salt and just be careful. The idea here is for you to not get stuck in that too. Because they might end up in this like holding pattern, and it might ironically transfer over to you in a way, and you might get stuck in this holding pattern too. Even though you technically might be moving, it reminds me of like trying to organize a house, but like when somebody has like 5 rooms, they're going to organize room 1 and they put it all in room 2, and then everything in room 2 all of a sudden goes back to room 1. It's like, wait, we put too much back, and then we move 3 into 2. It's just like there's so much, nothing is getting sorted. There's a lot of going on. There's a lot of things moving, but nothing is making sense. It's like we take stuff out of 1, put it in 2, and then we take all of 2 and put it back in 1, and wait, that wasn't right. Then some of 3 is in 2, and like that didn't make sense. And then people are moving things back and forth, and there's a lot of things moving, but nothing making sense is what I keep getting. Like, no. You're supposed to take everything out of 1 organize it, decide only what's supposed to. It's like we gotta do the three things: what belongs there, what gets given away, what gets thrown away, and then we, or fourth, maybe there's a fourth: what belongs somewhere else. That's how the process should go. But it's kind of like when I see this being played out, it's like we move everything out, then we move everything back in, plus some, and it's like, wait, that didn't work out right, and then everybody else is moving things. Okay, we're careful not to get stuck in that weird pattern where technically things are happening, but nothing is making sense, because it's even though things are moving, it's counterproductive. This is the advice, the Four of Cups. That is the four, yeah? Yeah. When I say advice, it's like an option, something to consider. Two of Pentacles, half in, half out, and the Lover's card. Okay. So there's going to be some confusion either way. I don't think we're going to escape it. There will be a level of a confusion. So I keep looking at the... I don't know that you're going to want to do this, though, but I don't know. I'm really conflicted about saying this for some reason. Controlling the situation. Because I don't think you're going to want to. It's an idea, it's an option. Realizing there's going to be a lot of wasteful action, but, like, it's almost like I feel like if I'm going into this situation, it's like, all right, I'm taking control of number one. And it's kind of like, I'm working with somebody else, and I put everything in room one into room two, and then I do those four different things. What belongs in room one, what needs to get given away, what needs to get thrown away, what belongs in a different room. And then I take control of that, and I don't let people put anything in room one unless I've approved it, which is a bit. And then I feel like I go through all 5 rooms the same way, and it still didn't work out correctly, but it definitely is better. It's just an idea. It's a possibility. I keep getting the Four of Cups like it works. It proves things, but I don't like it. I don't really want to... They Four of Cups. That's why I'm like getting that energy. Like, I don't think you're going to want to do it. Things could go better that way. It's up to you if it's worth it or not. It really is. Like, take it with a grain of salt, of course. Because I feel like if I'm looking back after 6 months, if I do it that way, I'm looking back like, you know what? There's been progress, slowly but surely, but there's been progress. If I don't do it that way, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel like it got worse. I feel like it's worse than when I started. I feel like it's worse than when I started. So I'm not. You just if this reading is hitting, you do what you think is right. Because I'm feeling the frustration. Like I don't think that's something I should have to do, and I feel like I don't want to. I feel like I don't want to, but I'm like I understand that it'll work. I feel like if this reading is hitting, you're not even arguing that it would work, but it's kind of like I don't want to do that. Totally respect that. You got to do what you think is right. It's just about 6 months, like literally 6 months from now, looking back and going, all right, at least there's progress, but I had to do everything. I had to control it, but at least there's been progress, versus kind of like looking back after 6 months going, I think it's worse than when we started. I don't know how this happened, but I think it's worse than when we started. So this is a slow-moving train. Slow-moving train. There is growth. There's growth. It's very slow. It's arduous. It's just, I'm definitely that reader that, like, you know, the energy is what the energy is. Sometimes we get some really beautiful readings that are really fun and great. Other times, I feel like a lot of times, it's kind of like, well, there's something we got to deal with here. Even with that 6 months from now, if it goes ideally, and it's like, well, there's progress, it's still going to feel like there's nowhere near enough progress. So I want to be on point with that. So it's like progress versus regress. Even the progress version is going to feel like not enough. But it's like starting off with $100 and 6 months from now going, oh, well, now we got $50 in that account, versus if you put the progressive side, well, we got 150, we need 500, but we got, at least we have more and not less. It still feels like that. So it feels very arduous. There's something here that I feel like also this might be a reason why you may be very adverse to doing this. there's a devil in this situation, and I'm not feeling the astrological sign. It does talk about Capricorn sometimes, but I'm not feeling that from this. I'm feeling like figuring out who the problem is. Somebody's the problem. Somebody's not doing right. Somebody's purposely making this worse, and there's a very dynamic energy behind it. It's figuring that out and then finding a way to deal with it. That's going to be, if you do the progressive side, you'll find it. And that might be one of the reasons you'll want to do it. Like, you probably already have an idea who it is anyway. Because for this to get better, for this situation to heal and keep healing, that energy has to be dealt with, and it has to be dealt with in some version. It's another thing where when you get there, it's figuring out what needs to be done and making the decision to do it. Because I feel like once I see it, I'm just kind of like, I don't even know if there's anything I can really do about it. But seeing it at the level that you'll be seeing it, you'll definitely make changes. So it might be one of those things, I feel like if you get there, just to be fair, because this is really how it's coming through, I feel like I'm looking at it going, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do with that. I don't even know if there's anything I can do with that. But your instincts will kick in, and before you know it, you will have taken care of it. This could be one of those moments where the moment presents itself and you just say what you need to say. It may be a rough road, but it'll get cleaned out. Or you just make changes for your life and you're like, well, maybe this situation isn't for me anymore because I can't do anything with that, so now I have to change what I'm doing. There could be a few different versions, because I'm getting, at first I feel like there's nothing I can do about it. But then with the attraction card, I'm getting, yeah, but once you acknowledge it, you do fix it. It may be, again, one of those random moments where I wasn't planning to do that, but it did fix it. It might be one of those moments. Take it with a grain of salt. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.